Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I am Molly and I do book content here on YouTube, and I'm going to get straight into it because I'm going to do slightly different things. So normally I try not to do hauls very often, but obviously it means it's usually quite a big haul because it's usually over a few months-ish. But I thought instead of doing that, I thought I might try and do smaller hauls. Just to see how that goes. I don't know how often they'll be. My idea was possibly monthly if I buy enough. I don't know what counts as enough, but anyway. I was thinking maybe that, or maybe every couple of months if I don't really have enough that I want to be bothered to do a video about, or maybe I'll add it on to another video I do, maybe. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go about it. But I thought I would. Obviously, to preface this, if you are not comfortable with watching hauls because of the whole, whatever the reason is, like consumerism aspect, whatever, temptation to spend money, whatever the reason is, if you do not want to watch a haul, or are not comfortable, whichever, or whatever, then please don't. It's totally fine if you do not want to watch this. But I can use this channel as a way to talk to friends, so that does include hauls. And so yes, I usually try and buy cheaper / second-hand books and stuff, so I do try not to buy full price books. Doesn't always work, it does depend, especially if it's an independent bookshop, or I just have no choice but to buy full price for whatever reason. And maybe I can't find it secondhand or whatever, then obviously I will. But I try and do, support charity shops as well as independent bookshops. So yes, that's it. I do have a couple of other things that are not book related, or maybe just one thing. Well, technically two. I'm going to start with one. One you will have already seen because I have been using it since I got it. And I'm sure by my saying that, you can probably guess what my first item is if you're a regular viewer. Although I don't always keep it in. So, you might not. I don't know. But, let's get started. And the first one goes in with the fact that I'm going to have something to drink. And that is my Scooby-Doo mug. I got this during the Prime Day sales. It was on offer. First time I'd ever seen it on offer. I have had it in my wish list for not much less than a year, if it isn't a year. So it's been a long time and I've never seen it on offer. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself to another new mug. Because I can't help it. It's Scooby-Doo, guys. I mean, you can't not. So you've got the whole mystery gang. You've got a couple of the popular phrases that I said, like joints and like wow, stuff like that. And obviously Scooby-Doo itself, the name, not the dog. Obviously, I would say he, because Scooby-Doo is a boy dog. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I've got. And if you're interested in what it is that I am drinking a iced coffee. It's kind of based off a latte, but I haven't made a latte, if you know what I mean. It's just like a milky coffee with some ice. Although most of the ice is melted, and I now have one big ice because of using up ice, basically. Most of it is just little bits, so I put that all in, and then I had one big one as well. So yes, so it's a nice cold coffee because it's not massively hot, but we did have some hot-ish weather on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then, although not as hot as previously, more like late 20s, like 27, something like that. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's in the 80s. But then the rest of the time it's been like early to mid 20s. So for me, it's on the cusp. When you get to mid 20 degrees Celsius, like 25, 26, is when I start being like, I don't like it. But anyway, that's my mug anyway. That's my first one. And actually, I did also, during the Prime Day sales, I did also get another Scooby-Doo related item. Or I should really say items. and that is a bumper disc selection of some of the Scooby-Doo cartoon movies. And these are the ones that I remember watching as a kid. In fact, most of them I have actually seen, which is really interesting. A lot I haven't, or some I haven't, and most I've not seen in, well, before getting these, since, a couple of decades, maybe 20 years. Showing my age there, maybe a bit less than that actually, because I might have been like early teens, you know, like 12, 13 or something. But yeah, it's been a long time. So it's got things, films like Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. I'll get a couple of them out. My favourites were, of this selection, there's loads more that they've done over the years of actual films that I will have seen, but aren't in this collection. But Legend of the Vampire is the one I always remember and always loved, because I don't even know why. I think mostly it's because there's a little scene where they have spaghetti bolognese and they put a lot of, what cheese is it? It's the really fine one when you grate it. Very popular in Italian restaurants. I forget what it's called now. I want to say pomodoro cheese, but it's not that. It's not mozzarella. It doesn't matter. Anyway, if I remember, I'll write it in, or if I search it up. But basically, it always made me crave cheese. No surprise there. Another one I remember watching is the Alien Invaders one. That one, I always remember that one. So there's a lot that I've seen. Did I didn't show you Ghoul School, did I? Ghoul School is another one I remember watching as a kid. And again, showing my age now, I had them all on VHS, on video, so there we go, there's Ghoul School. So those are the ones I remember the most. There's others as well, but those are the ones I'm going to single out, because I'll be here all day if I show you all of them. But I will tell you the titles of them all, so you know, so at least, even if you don't know what the film is, because some of them I have watched that I didn't realise was the title. So we've got Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, which I've already mentioned, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire, Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster, Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, and then Scooby-Doo Camp Scare. So yeah, that's all of them. Oh, you get them all on the back, on the bottom there, so that's the bottom of it. So you get to see, so those are all the covers of the ones you've seen and not seen. So yeah, I've watched a couple of them already. I started with Alien Invaders because that's the one I remember the most, and I was nostalgic, and is nostalgic for me. So yeah, and that's what I did. So I'm really excited about that, and I like that they're physical media. I've been getting the urge, guys, it's not good for my space, because I'm having the urge of buying more physical media, like more DVDs, and I'm like, I don't have the space for these things. But I'm like, I like the fact that I can own it. I don't have to keep paying for a subscription just to watch them, for them to be taken away from me. Or like on Amazon Prime, some stuff is like free on Amazon Prime, but then they change it and you have to pay for it, either like rental or buying it to keep. And I'm like, I don't want to have to do that, you know? But it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. First world problems, am I right? I'm trying to rearrange things because I have a small single bed. Well, it's not a small bed. It's like an adult single bed. So I don't have much space for rearranging things. I think I've figured out a way of doing it though. Okay, so I'm not going in any particular order really. So all of the rest are books / maybe colouring books. You'll have to wait and see. But the next one I got is definitely one I think I got full price, yeah. And that is the Lexham English Septuagint, or Septuagint. This is a translation of the Bible. I think it's the Greek translation. I wanted to get it because I wanted to read it and see English translation of that, like specifically, not like the King James or anything like that where it's based on that. But yeah, yeah, I'm going to read that at some point. It's very big. It's only the Old Testament, but it also has other books like the apocryphal hidden books. So we also have books like 1 and 2 Esdras. We have Tobit, Judith. We've got the Maccabees, books like that. So that'll be interesting to read. So yeah. So that should be good. It's a very nice book as well, and it also has it's still in the book, but it also has a ribbon there as well. So yeah, it's a very, very nice book. Not expensive as some Bibles go. I mean, some Bibles are very expensive, but this was £20-something, so it wasn't expensive for a Bible, usually anyway. So the next one I have is also one that I got second hand, and that is 1984 by George Orwell. I've been wanting to read this for a long time. I got the 1954 publication version. So yeah, can't wait to read that at some point. And that was from eBay. Was it eBay? Yes. Yeah, 1984 was from eBay. The Let's Septuagint was Amazon. Now these next books are also all classics, so that's well timed. I got all these from one of the independent shops that I like to go to. This one was the one in Lytham St Anne's. I forget what it's called though. But it's a full price shop, but it's independent, so I don't mind. Not that I necessarily mind anyway, but these are the books I got. So I got The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I prefer this over the one with the weird eyes. I don't know why I don't like it. I don't find it creepy. Like, that's not, even though it is. Like, it doesn't make me feel creeped out, but I just don't like the look of it. I just think it's ugly. No offence to those of you who like the cover. I'm really glad you do, but I don't. I prefer this over that one myself. So I got this specifically thinking of Anne from In Search of Wonder, her reading the classics challenge. So I got that one. And then actually, well, it's partly Anne as well, but also I've wanted to read this for a long time anyway. But I also picked up the Epic of Gilgamesh. This is the translation by Andrew George from the Penguin Classics, yeah. So I've got that as well to read at some point. And then last classic is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Again, I've wanted to read this for a long time, but also this was a Osina influence, because she recently read this and really enjoyed it, and her views on it and what she took from it from a Christian point of view was really interesting, and I thought it was really fascinating, and I liked what she said from her opinions and stuff. So I'd like to give this a try as well, which I would have done anyway, but yeah. Okay, the next one is a charity shop book, and I picked up Dark Matter by Blake Crouch because I'm in a bit of a sci-fi mood at the moment, or certainly that sort of high action type of thing, slash adventure. So I picked this up. It's a nice cover as well, I like it. It's also textured, where there's like people at the bottom and the top, and they're textured, and I like that. I didn't know that until I picked it up. So yeah, I'm excited to read this at some point as well. And then the next one is mostly a Kay from Kay's Library influence, because she's been reading this series and it just sounds really good. I love the covers, especially the covers that she's been looking at. I know there's other ones as well, like with most books. But I picked up the first book in the Lancaster family romance series, and I picked up Seeking Persephone by Sarah M. Eden. I know this is also a show, is it? I don't know where though, but I've heard it's a TV show now as well. If I like it, I might watch it. I don't know. But yeah. Oh wow! I didn't realise how old it was. It was copyright 2011. Wow. So yeah, I'm excited to read this at some point, because I do like that sort of, I like historical, we all know this. Okay, now this, well, I'm excited about all of my books, okay, but these I'm excited about because they're colouring books. You know I mentioned it, okay? We all know I mentioned it. So, I only bought 2, but I had to because one of them I had to. Because, as you guys know if you've watched, I have 2 cats. And, well, I live at home, so we have 2 cats. And they're my babies. Obviously, all pet owners will agree, regardless of whether they're a cat owner or not. Although, do we own them, or do they know? I can't even say it. Do they own us? Who knows? Well, the cats know, don't they? Let's be honest. We all know what they would say. So, yeah, I got Cat Moments Cozy Corner books by Hikaru Koch. I don't know if I'm saying the name correct. And as you can tell by the title and the front cover, these are all cat pictures to colour in. And so, of course, I had to get them. So, there you go. You get some great cat moments. Just classic cats, just doing the things cats do. There's also one of a cat licking its bum, so just be careful of that one. But yeah, and then, cozy cats. I mean, look at that. Oh, there you go, cat knocking over a Christmas tree. So it looks like there's some themed pictures as well. So if you like doing your seasonal themed pictures, and we all saw, there you go. Cat cleaning itself, typical. Yeah, so there's like a Halloween and a birthday one there, and a Christmas one. So, yeah, but they're mostly just general sort of, not necessarily specifically seasonal, necessarily, apart from maybe the outside ones, I guess. But yeah, so I had to get that because, I mean, you just can't not, can you? The pictures are cute. It's got cats. I mean, I'm just a sucker, okay? I'm just a sucker for cute colouring pictures and colouring books. And then the next one is another version of one that I like that has the back so you can put it under your pages, which is really good. The other one, again, does not do that. But I've got another cozy colouring, and this is Movie Moments. So as you can tell from the cover, it has famous pictures from famous movies. So obviously you've got your Titanic, paint me like a French girl moment. But yeah, you have all sorts of different films. Some of them I know, oh, it's too low down. Some of them I know from looking at them, like obviously that's Mrs. Doubtfire. Some of them I don't know, so it just depends. Oh look, there you go, Home Alone. So yeah, the Addams Family, there it is, love it. Sister Act. So yeah, there's a load, I know a lot of them. There's Pirates of the Caribbean, love it. So yeah, you do have quite a lot of different ones. There's Avengers. So yeah, and Barbie. We've got Barbie, the live action Barbie. Oh no, I've missed it. No, Barbie, no. There it is. There's the Barbie one. And it's funny that they called it Cozy Land instead of Barbie Land, which makes sense because probably, copyright, but still. Then you got your Jurassic Park, love that one. And then you got your either The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. I'm going by Lord of the Rings from the scene. That looks like the scene that I've seen. The scene that I've seen in one of probably the first Lord of the Rings, I assume, if not the second. So yeah, it's all sorts of famous ones from different genres of films. A mixture of like films that, adults would watch and not children, as well as like ones children would watch. And you have some of the classics as well. You've got some like Clueless, I think that's what that one is. And then you also have another one from that same sort of era, or maybe a little bit before, from Breakfast Club, I think. So yeah, you've got a nice variety of different ones. So yeah, it's good. Yeah. No, I like it. It's really cute. I like it, okay? We all know this. We all know I like my colouring books. And I blame Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. She started the itch. And I've said this before, okay? I used to love colouring books, but so I collected them and never did them. Classic. So I got rid of them all. I mean, to be fair, those ones were the adult colouring books ones, so they were very intricate, which is beautiful, great. But I find they kind of did the opposite of what you would consider colouring to be, relaxing. fun, maybe. And for me, I would start getting stressed out because I'd be there for about 2 hours and I'd barely done anything because it's just so intricate. So yeah, I love the ones like these, which again, I have said before, because they're easier, but they're not childish. Now, although they sort of are, but they sort of aren't. It's hard to describe. It's kind of that sort of thing where, you know, kids could definitely colour, but they're good for adults too. So, yeah. Okay, what's this next one then? Oh yeah, so this next one is from my other independent bookshop that I love to go to, the one that does have cheaper books. I think they're new books, but cheaper than retail price. So I assume they're like backlog, like overstock or whatever the word is, when they have too much, so, you know, this bookshop takes some of them or whatever. So they're a lot cheaper than you would find them in like a mainstream bookshop. Well, it's still mainstream, but you know, like your big brand ones like Barnes and Noble for you Americans, or Waterstones for me in the UK. They're a lot cheaper, especially the hardbacks. It's especially the non-fiction hardbacks, not just, although the fiction ones as well. But yeah, so I went there recently and I picked up quite a few books. And I will tell you, okay, I will tell you. I bought 2 non-fiction hardbacks and then 2, 4, 5 paperbacks. And I'm going to tell you, right, Waterstones, if I was buying all those from there, it would have been, I don't even know how much, probably at least 100 or near enough, if not more. It was about just over £40. I mean, it's just crazy, absolutely amazing. I love it. And it's called High Peaks Bookstore, by the way, and cafe. They have a really nice cafe. Very nice food. Because they make it, like, at the venue, I think. And I assume they get locally sourced the food as well from, like, farms and stuff like that. But I'm making that up. I don't actually know that. But I'm assuming so. Because it's, like, in the countryside. Like, there's not really anywhere. I mean, there's stuff nearby, but, like, nearby in car standards. Anyway, you don't need to know all this. Let me show you the books. I'm excited. I'm gonna start with paperbacks, I guess, because they're nearer. So yeah, let's get started. So the first one is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. This sounds really good. It's been on my TBR, and on my Amazon wish list. I think I put it on there. I need to take it off if I did. I forgot to do that. But anyway, wanted to read this. It sounds really good. I do like a good thriller, which I think is what this is. I don't know. Anyway, it sounds really good. I want to read it, so I picked it up. $3.99, guys. £4. In the UK, it's very small writing, but in the UK, at full price, it's £10.99. £11. Insane. Okay, right. The next one is This Is How You Lose the Time War by 2 authors, Amal El Mohtar, sorry I can't pronounce the name, and then Matt Gladstone. It's a very short book. I've heard of it. It sounds really good. It's, as I'm sure you can tell by the title, it's like time travel type stuff. I don't know if it's historical, it might be, but anyway, it doesn't really matter because it's time travel stuff. But it's about a war, as you can tell by the title. So, yeah, and it's about 2 rival agents from, like, you know, 2 different sides of the war, and I think they're in love or something, or they become in love, stuff like that. So it sounds really good. It's only short, so, and I really like the cover as well. I like the shade of the background. And the birds are cool. So you've got your red, I knew it, red cardinal. And then I'm not sure what that bird is. Is that a real bird? Probably, because why would it not be? So if you know that bird, I'm assuming it's another American or Canadian bird because, well, red cardinals, we don't have those in the UK. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's that one. And now, obviously, I should have said this at the start. Most, if not all of these books, especially the ones that aren't classics, I can't speak to the content. So just be aware of that. I'm not necessarily recommending these books saying that I think they're good or that they're appropriate for you to read. Obviously, that's for you to decide as well on your own. But yeah, just letting you know. So like some of these, I don't know the content. So yeah, just be aware of that. Well, most of these. The next one is The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers with Alex Keister, I think is how you pronounce the name. Again, I've heard about this. This is a thriller, I do remember that. And it sounded really good because it's about this woman whose sister goes missing 7 years ago in time, in the book. And it just sounds really good. Yeah, so it sounds good. And I really like the cover. It's giving me mermaid vibes. There'll be no mermaids involved, okay? But it just does because it looks like she's underwater and like the hair is all flowy and like. Saying that, I've hardly read any mermaid books apart from the classic Little Mermaid. The next one, again, I don't know about content, but it sounds good. I've heard of it, and that is Anatomy, a love story by Sana Schwartz. I'm terrible with W's and V's. Anyway, Sana. And this is a historical gothic tale. It's a mystery, there's a romance as well. And that's the bit that obviously we're never sure about because I don't know if this is YA or adult. And obviously these days that doesn't make a difference. Well, not much of one. It doesn't sound like... Oh, it's a D. Sorry. Dana Schwartz. Sorry. I just saw the little review there by Neil Gaiman. And see? Yeah. She is called Dana Schwartz. Sorry. It's because that looks a bit like an S. But it does look like a D. So anyway, yeah, Dana Schwartz. Oh, Schwartz. And yeah, it's set in Edinburgh in 1817. So that's really cool. And yeah, basically, yeah, it's a mystery. I always want to talk about what's on the back, but then I'm like, I'll be here all day. You know how much I chat if you're a regular viewer. I can't stop talking. So why would I spend more time talking about a book? I mean, like the blurb. Be here all day. But yeah, it sounds like this woman wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to get married. And yeah, basically these bodies start turning up because in those days you can't, well, I mean, she's a woman, so she gets kicked out. She's not allowed to learn. So she has to get corpses legally so she can study to be a surgeon. And apparently bodies keep turning up or disappearing or both. So yeah, it looks good, sounds good. And I really like the cover because it's a woman in a dress, but the dress and the woman is all shaped like a heart. Because anatomy. Love it. It doesn't take much for me to be happy, I'll tell you. Oh, yes, I forgot to pick this up. Yes. I picked up another Agatha Christie. Yay. I hardly ever find Agatha Christie at this bookshop. I picked up the Seven Dials mystery because, as I'm sure you can tell by the printed on sticker, that isn't really a sticker, so I can't take it off. It's a film on Netflix now, and I wanted to read the original first before watching that because I think from what I've heard it also differs from the book, so obviously that means I kind of want to read the original. I would want to anyway, but yeah. So that is those. Now let's get on to the hardbacks. So excited. Okay, so the first hardback is Captain James Cook and the Search for Antarctica by James C. Hamilton. And that's a cool cover. There were two books based about him. And there was another one that sounded interesting, but not as interesting as this. Because as the title suggests, this is about his voyage to Antarctica or to look for Antarctica. Stuff like that. And yeah, it's got like pictures, kind of, and maps, kind of in between everything. I think it's mostly just maps on the looks of it. But anyway, it sounds really interesting. I like my non-fiction I like this sort of era. I just find it interesting, especially in the past when they go on these journeys and adventures, in my opinion, because sometimes there are things that these people talk about that don't sound right in real life, and when you hear them you're like, well, that doesn't sound real, or it sounds and so unreal that you think, oh, they're probably being racist and things like that. And the main one I'm thinking of with that is I think is it the dog-headed men or people, something like that, or they look like dogs. I just find it all really fascinating. So I'm not saying that is in this or anything similar to that. I just like this sort of thing. It sounded interesting, and it's a cool cover. Cool cover. So I've got that. And then my last non-fiction. Oh yes. This sounds really good too. Unsurprisingly. This is called The Lost Realms, Histories of Britain from the Romans to the Vikings by Thomas Williams. And this is about the era of the places in Britain during the Dark Ages. It specifically references Tolkien and basically how there were a lot of little kingdoms during the Dark Ages. And some of the realms are known about, like Mercia, Wessex, Northumbria, Gwynedd, however you pronounce that, sorry, Welsh people. But there's also ones that you've not heard about because they didn't last or whatever. And it's basically exploring those lost lands from that time, really. And I love things like that. I think it's so interesting, especially when it's called the Dark Ages, and yet during the Dark Ages, you have things like the old cathedrals in the UK and in other places too. But, all the old cathedrals you're getting, and, you have the Byzantine era. I think that's around Dark Ages as well. So you have all of these quite prosperous looking things or places or whatever during a place that's called a time that's called the Dark Ages. And I just find that really fascinating. So this sounds really good. I don't know if there's pictures. Yes, I think there is. They're kind of interspersed throughout the book, though. There's one there. I don't know what that is. I didn't look. It's a belt set from grave 117 Mucking. Don't know what that is, but yeah. Well, I know what a belt thing is, but I mean Muckings. But anyway, yeah, it sounds really good. And you know what these two books were? Full price in a normal shop, £25, both of these non-fiction hardbacks. They were both £9.99. £10. I mean, honestly, it's a steal. Well, I don't like that term, but you know what I mean. Oh, I kept the receipt. Let's have it. I remember it being 40, but how much was it? It was, yeah, £40, 18 pence. There it is. I mean, how amazing is that? All those books are that price. I mean, you couldn't do that in like a big mainstream shop, could you? I don't know why I keep saying mainstream, but you all know what I mean by that. So anyway, just ignore me. Okay, here's some more. Let's have a coffee break though. We need a coffee break, guys, for all this talking. So these next ones are a mixture of charity shop and Amazon. So the top ones are both Amazon, so I'll just start with those, which is convenient. One of them you will have seen, and the other one is actually connected to this book. But yeah, and I've already read this book. If you see my Instagram, you'll know, because you won't know on here until next week now. So the first one is Strange Pictures by Uketsu. This is a Japanese, an English translation from a Japanese author, and he writes, it's a mystery. Well, it's marketed as mystery horror, but I'm not getting, personally, it's not very horror for me. Now, obviously, we're all different. Some of us have, a higher threshold than others. I wouldn't say it's scary like a horror film would be, or like say maybe a Stephen King. I mean, it is shorter, to be fair, than a lot of Stephen King's books, to be fair. But it's still not quite the same, because to be honest, it's more mystery than horror. So yeah, this book is really, really good. I loved it, despite, you know, the topic. But it's really interesting. It focuses on pictures, which is why it's called that. Pictures, specifically drawings, are the main kind of theme to all of the mysteries that are occurring in this book. And it's just really good. It's really short. I read it in one day. Yeah, me, the slow reader, right? I read this in one day. Now, to be fair, it was like 3 in the morning when I finished it. But I'm counting it as one day because I started it that day before it became the next day. Yeah, it was a 24 hours day, okay? That's what I'm counting it as. Anyway, yeah, really good book. Really good. Oh my goodness, loved it. Okay, the next one I said is like that, and that's because I don't know if it's a series or whether it's just the same theme but different characters or something. I don't know if there's any connections with other characters, like characters from book 1 in book 2 or anything like that. I have no idea. But this is the next book after Strange Pictures, and that is Strange Houses by Uketsu. I have not read this one yet, but again, it's the same genre, mystery, horror type of thing. I mean, like, on there it says chilling Japanese mystery, so I mean, it is. I think they are mainly mystery. I could be wrong though. But again, it's a similar size to Strange Pictures. It's not very big. And again, it has like pictures throughout the book as well. Mostly like different floor plans and stuff like that. It's just, oh, it's so good, guys. It was so good. So yeah, I'm excited to read that at some point. Okay, these next ones, the last 3, okay, it's only 3 now, are all charity shop finds. And the first one is a non-fiction, and that is The Case for Faith by Lee Strobel. If any of you remember, I recently read The Case for Christ, and then funnily enough, I found this in a charity shop, and Case for Christ, I found at its charity shop. So I'm really pleased about that. So this is a journalist investigates the toughest objections to Christianity. And yeah, it's basically on the, he talks about the 8 heart barriers to faith, apparently. So, yeah, I don't know if it's the same sort of process. I'm not sure, you know, as the first one. Like, I don't know if it's, yeah, it looks like he's done the same sort of layout, like, interviews type stuff, so it should be good. Don't know when I'll read it, like with any of my books, but yes. And then the next one is one of the next books in the Murder Most Unladylike series that I've been loving. It's not the next one I need to read, but it's the one after, so I'm going to let myself off. But it's Sprayed Edges, which is the same as all but one of my books. So I kind of want to keep that as a theme. And the Sprayed Edges is not bad. It's secondhand, it's charity shop, so obviously I'm not necessarily expecting perfect, but it's good enough for me. Some of them aren't, so I'm like, I'll leave it, but then some are good. And that is Top Marks for Murder by Robin Stevens. So, yeah. Oh. I just love this series. Sorry, I'm reading the blurb. Okay, and then the last one is another non-fiction. We all know I love my non-fiction. And this is really good. It's basically a reference book kind of thing. And that is Myths and Legends, an illustrated guide to their origins and meanings. And I think this is by Philip Wilkinson. This is old, to be fair. I think it's like 20 years old, but I don't mind. I don't care. But it's, as it says on the title, that's what it does. So, you know, it talks about, it's got like pictures. I mean, that picture's amazing. But then it has, you know, different things. So you've got like the Odyssey there, which is quite well placed, that one. So it has a lot of different details. you know, talks about it, probably talks about where the myth is from and stuff like that. It has all sorts of things, and it's not just the Greeks either, it's the Romans. It also talks about the underworld. I don't know if it's which ones they do. It should tell me here. Here we go. So it covers Europe, West and Central Asia, South and East Asia, Africa, the Americas, and Oceania. So yes, it definitely has a lot of different places. It's got a lot of the famous ones. It's even got the Epic of Gilgamesh to tie back in with the book I bought. It's got all sorts of different things, and so yeah, it looks really good. Ooh, look at that. That's really nice, isn't it? Look at that. Ooh. So yeah, it looked really good, and you guys know I like my historical and myths and legends are always really interesting to me. She says not really reading much, but there we go. That's why I want to read it. That's why I bought it, you see. Thinking. So yeah, those are my charity shop books. Okay, well that is everything. That's all my books and DVDs and mug. That's everything I've bought in the last, I think, just about a month or a couple of months. So yeah, I need to stop spending, guys. I really do, but I just can't help it. I mean, to be fair, I'm not always buying books from charity shops. It does vary, and the amount varies. But yes, I need to stop. Yes. At least it's not drugs, as they say. But yeah, I can't think of what else to say now. But yeah, I've not really, yeah, I can't speak. Basically, let me know what you think. Is there any books that you like, that you've read, that I've bought, that you recommend? Is there anything you don't recommend? Let me know. Especially in terms of content, especially, and in particular sexual content. I have a high threshold for other, you know, like violence and swearing. It does depend, but I have a higher threshold for them. Sexual content, less of a higher threshold. So yeah, do let me know. And let me know what you think. Are there any books that interest you? Let me know. I'd love to know if there's anything that sounds good to you that you've also not read. And yes, and let me know if you've watched any of the Scooby-Doo films that I've shown you. Let me know which one is your favourite, if you've watched any. Let me know if you haven't. Let me know if you like Scooby-Doo or if you don't like Scooby-Doo. I won't accept the last one. Except I will, because we're all entitled to our opinions. But jokingly, I won't accept any negative opinions. But yeah, all jokes aside, let me know. And let me know if you like the colouring books as well. If you like colouring. Or if you want to get into it, you know, whatever you want to tell me, I would love to know. And if you don't know what to say, but you still want to leave a comment, leave an emoji down below. And just anything to do with shopping or books, like a book or a pile of books, or like a dollar or a pound sign, or whatever money sign you want, just money. Yeah, pretty standard, right? Yeah, do any of those emojis. I'm happy with that. And yes, I think that is everything I need to say. Yes, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good July. When this uploads, it will technically be August, but like August 1st or 2nd or something. So I hope you had a good July and that the start of your August is going well. I mean, it's hard to know when it's only the first day or two, but you know, I hope it is anyway. And yeah, Jesus loves you, I love you, and God bless. See you next week. Bye.